Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is King Angus, and today I have BluesFanReacts.
No, Dad! No! Dad, I'm King Angus!
Oh, did we absolutely troll the viewers? No, I'm not King Angus, my name is BluesFanReacts.
Dad, everybody's gonna think that my voice changed.
Hey, pipe down, son, pipe down.
My name is King Angus, welcome to the video, and today I have BluesFanReacts on the channel, and we are going to be giving 3 players each on who we think could break out in the 2021 season, and potentially even be heroes for their team.
Yeah, puberty hasn't quite hit Angus yet. He'll get here eventually, but for now he's still my kid, and y'all better stop bullying him.
So Mason is going to be doing 3 players from the Western Conference. I'm going to be giving 3 players from the Eastern Conference. So without further ado, let's get into it. My first player was a rookie last year and he plays for the New York Rangers, 2nd overall from the 2019 NHL entry draft. The Finnish stud himself, Kaapo Kakko. Now, Kaapo Kakko had an underwhelming rookie season as he only recorded 23 points in 66 games. He wasn't the best player from the top 3. That would, of course, belong to Kirby Dach, but he was definitely the 2nd best. And Jack Hughes, he was number 3. As for Kaapo Kakko, I think he could have a breakout year as he isn't going to have as much pressure on him as he did last year. Last year, all the hype was revolving around him. This year, most of that is going to be taken by Alexis Lafreniere. And some people have even forgot Kaapo Kakko is even on the New York Rangers. He only had 3 games played in the playoffs last year, a very short glimpse, but that was the New York Rangers season for you.
I mean, seriously, when we look at Kaapo Kakko, how underwhelming his rookie season was. Right, he was placed on a Rangers team that was awful last year, just awful, and understandably, people were not happy when he last year was one of the most disappointing players of the first round, of the entire first round. You know, obviously Jack Hughes is up there because we expected a lot more out of him, but I mean, on a team like the New York Rangers, I mean, what else do you expect from Kaapo Kakko? He can't carry the weight of a franchise in his first year, and especially with King Henrik departing, he's going to need to really turn some heads in the next season. And Angus, you think that he'll be able to do that?
My point projection is probably around 40 points. I think he could easily get 20 and 20 goals, 20 assists. He's more of a shoot-first player, and his shot is very lethal. He's going on to a team this year that is more team-friendly, as they've got Artemi Panarin, along with Alexis Lafreniere, Igor Shishyorkin, and hopefully the team can rally around the young guys enough. I think the Rangers are a good team as long as they don't pull a Devils in this next season, and I think Kaapo Kakko could have a lot to do with them being a good team.
The first player in the Western Conference that I think will have a breakout year in 2021, gotta be DENIS GURIANOV. I mean, you look at the Stars team, made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final last year. Against all odds, these guys somehow managed to pull a finals appearance, and they played pretty well, too. You can't deny. But Tampa Bay was a wagon, obviously well-deserved Stanley Cup win. But if we look at DENIS GURIANOV, right, he has 1 year of pro experience under his belt. And in that year, he put up 20 goals, 9 assists for 29 points and a +5. For a first-year player, this guy just came out of the minors and just casually became the leading goal scorer for the Dallas Stars and a key power play forward. I think this guy is going to be insane next year. I mean, obviously we know that it's not going to be an 82-game season next year. I mean, we all know that. But I think if it was an 82-game pace, don't be surprised if he hits 50 points. I'd say he does 30 goals, 20 assists. I'll say 50 points. I think that's a fair. I'd probably a +10. I mean, would that be a fair guess for him?
Yeah, that's definitely. And you saw DENIS GURIANOV. I'm not sure. Let me pull up his sheet. Yeah, he tore it up in the playoffs last year. with 17 points, and he really was one of the guys who carried that Dallas Stars forward group, and throughout the regular season as well. He was a phenomenal player for the Dallas Stars, and there was definitely no disappointment for him, and I think he's got a lot of potential to turn into a better player than he already is, and we all know how good he is, and I think that 50-point range is probably about accurate for Denis Gurianov.
I mean, we look at him, because that's the other thing. Denis Gurianov is 23 years old. He has yet to reach his prime, and especially with that little pro experience.
Far from it.
Yeah, he's far from his prime. No, for sure. I think that in his prime, you can expect a first line out of him. Guarantee it. First line right winger. Denis Gurianov is the future of the Dallas Stars, and I think he's going to have a fantastic season next year, and I can't wait to see him play. I mean, that'll just be so much fun. But if we really look at it, yeah, 9 goals, 8 assists last year. He's not necessarily a playmaker, but he is a shooter, and he's got a dangerous shot. You can see in some of his highlight reel goals last year. It was just insane. I mean, we look at this Dallas Stars team, right? Leading scorer, the next best guy when it comes to goals were Jamie Benn and Rupe Hintz with 19 each, and then Tyler Seguin had 17. Right, so you got a guy who can find the back of the net better than Ben, Hintz, and Seguin, and it's only his first year of NHL experience. I don't think anybody expected this from Denis Gurianov, but...
Alexander Radulov.
And Alexander Radulov. I think he had 15 last year, but...
Yeah, Radulov's a known goal scorer, too, and we saw in the playoffs, I believe it was against Calgary in Game 7, Denis Gurianov carried that team with 4 goals in that game, and it sparked a huge storm on social media about how good is Denis Gurianov.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. And before we move on from the Dallas Stars and go to your next guy, can we just appreciate how beautiful those new jerseys are? I want one.
They're so nice.
They're beautiful. So nice. And you mentioned in the previous recording, this is our second take of this recording, but because I had somebody upstairs and you could hear nothing but footsteps throughout the whole thing. But now I'm in my recording closet. My subscribers know where I am. You mentioned that they were the lime green that was glow in the dark.
I heard, yes, it is.
This franchise, there's so much you can do with a glow in the dark jersey. Like I'm excited to see how the Dallas Stars run with this jersey concept. Now, I don't understand the hate. I think people hate it because they hate change. I don't think they hate the jerseys. They just don't like it when teams take a risk like this. I love it. I wish more teams would do it. On to your next player. You got another one, Angus. Go ahead, son.
My favorite team, thank you, Dad. For my favorite team, Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Now, Jesperi Kotkaniemi last year had a huge sophomore slump. 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points in 36 games, and a -11. Kotkaniemi definitely disappointed a lot of people who were excited after a very surprising rookie season. And he even disappointed myself slightly. Currently, he's with Asset in the Finnish Elite League, and in 3 games played, he has recorded 0 points. Which isn't surprising, because if Habs fans have been paying attention on Twitter, Asset sucks, man. Like, dude, there's been in those 3 games played, I think there's been 1 goal scored for that team. Interesting team. Montreal has next year. They brought in Josh Anderson and Tyler Toffoli, and they can ride Jake Allen for a few games so that Carey Price can stay healthy. I think Kotkaniemi has the potential to lead the team in points, and I would go somewhere within the 40 to 50 point range. And I even said in the previous recording, maybe even 60. With the shortened season, Kotkaniemi's potential is going to be unleashed. He is going to be able to stay at probably on one of the top 2 lines for Montreal. And if they assemble a line that I think would be so good for them, Tyler Toffoli, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and Josh Anderson, that line would be scary. And Kotkaniemi could just feed assists to Toffoli, and hopefully Anderson turns out to be the goal scorer that Mark Bergevin wished to acquire. Kotkaniemi is only 20 years old, and I think he's got a lot to prove, because he's going to be looking for his second professional contract after this season. So it could end up being to the point where, hey, Kotkaniemi wants those big bucks, and the only way to get that is to show that he deserves them with a huge third season in the NHL. Any points on that, Mason, or do you want to move on?
I just want to know what you think your point projections for this player might be in the next season.
Like I said, anywhere between 40 to 60 points. I think he could potentially be the kind of guy who could get 20 goals and 20 assists, another even number. Or if Kotkaniemi can unleash that shot that we all know is so lethal, he could potentially turn into a 30-goal scorer. That is a hot take, but I think he could do it.
That is a really hot take, yeah.
I think he's going to lead the Canadiens in points next year.
So speaking of underrated players, because in the last recording, we both had a bet with each other. That bet was who will have more points next season, Jesperi Kotkaniemi or Robert Thomas. Because you were very adamant that you thought Kotkaniemi would do that well next year, and I just can't see it. If we look at Robert Thomas, and yeah, it's BluesFanReacts. Of course, I'm not going to go a video without talking about a player from the Blues, but let's be totally honest. Robert Thomas is going to be an elite breakout player for the Blues next season. All right, let's think about it. The kid's 21 years old, a valuable center that the Blues need. Last year, 2019-2020, put up 10 goals, 32 assists for 42 points as a sophomore. No sophomore slump for Robert Thomas. This kid has proven himself in the NHL level for the last 2 years. And let's be honest, Kotkaniemi, while he may not have had really a shot, he just hasn't proved himself really anywhere, I don't think, other than junior. But
well, you have to factor in Kotkaniemi's first year when he got 30 points. He was with our Turi Lehkonen and Yoel Armia. Who was Robert Thomas with that year? On the Stanley Cup winning team, might I add.
That's
sure,
right.
he's a first-line player right now, but it was a Stanley Cup winning team. There's enough pieces on that team. He's not standing alone, and he's not playing on the third line. And Kotkaniemi got more points than Thomas did in his rookie season on the third line.
Yeah, okay. I can understand that, but listen, we're having a bet. Like, what are we gonna bet? We're gonna bet like Uber Eats or something. Next season, if Kotkaniemi scores more points than Robert Thomas, I will deadass get you Uber Eats. That's how confident I am that Robert Thomas will have an insanely good junior season. I can see him playing valuable top 6 minutes. I mean, you look at him last year. Tarasenko was out. I think he was with Shen and Schwartz for a little bit, and they absolutely tore things up. And then he was moved with Perron and O'Reilly, and that line tore things up. And that actually became the first line for pretty much half of last season. If Robert Thomas can play elite minutes, and being a grinding forward that the Blues really need, and he can play that well with Perron and O'Reilly, oh my goodness, that is a team to beat. That is a line to beat. Robert Thomas, while he might have had an okay... He had an okay playoffs last year, 3 points in 8 games. I could see him scoring 25 goals next year. If we adjust for an 82-game season, I can see him scoring that much. I can see him getting, 30, 40 assists kind of thing. So I think you can almost expect a 65, 70-point season out of him. He's just that good of a player.
Compared to Kotkaniemi, he stays out of the box a lot more. And hopefully he can keep that up, because if Robert Thomas could stay out of the box and stay healthy for the St. Louis Blues, I agree with what you're saying.
All right, I'm sure the Blues fans want a hot take right about now. Here's my St. Louis Blues hot take.
Robert Thomas will be the future captain of the St. Louis Blues. That is my hot take.
That is a hot
Ryan
take.
O'Reilly is going to be the next captain, for sure. But I think after Ryan O'Reilly, Robert Thomas will take the captaincy. There's no way the Blues are letting go of him. And by the way, I think this is the last year of... I think it's the last year of both players' entry levels. It's Kotkaniemi and Thomas's last years of their ELCs. I think that Robert Thomas is going to get $5 million in his next raise. It's going to be like a 3-year, $5 million average. I don't think Kotkaniemi's getting that much.
No, I don't think so
He'll get
either.
3 at most.
3 to 4, yeah. Around that. But captains-wise, after it's all said and done with Ryan O'Reilly, I think that Colton Parayko gets the cap.
You think so?
I'm a pretty big Parayko guy.
I love Breakout, but the only thing is I don't think we have the space for him. I think we're gonna let him go after his contract's up. To be honest, it's gonna be too hard. One of Parayko and Ryan O'Reilly. And this is like 3-4 years down the road. One of them will be going. We can't keep this.
Yep.
It's too bad. But this isn't a Blues Fan Reacts video. This is a King Angus video, and you got your next prospect. Go ahead with that, son.
I just want to say something about the Blues. Robert Thomas and Vince Dunn are probably the future of the St. Louis Blues. Right now, currently, I think that they are going to be they're going to have the best chance.
Yeah, but Vince Dunn isn't re-signed right now. Thanks, Armstrong.
Well,
I wish he just needs to sign him. Like, I'm just so sick of this game. We played this game with Alex Pietrangelo. Let's not play it with Vince Dunn, too. And Vince Dunn's an RFA, so at least we'll get something out of him if Army decides, nope, we're not resigning him. But, man, just Armstrong, freaking sign Vince Dunn, alright?
a stud.
Just sign him already.
I don't know why he's on the third pair, but he's a stud.
That's because Blues defense was stacked this year. It was pretty stacked. Alright, little buddy, what you got? Next player.
My next player is a recent member of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and that is number 16, Max Domi. Now, Max Domi, who was traded from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for Josh Anderson, and the Canadiens gave up a pick. It was a terrible trade. Terrible trade. Terrible trade.
A Jake Allen to the Canadiens like trade.
Max Domi is going to show why that trade was bad.
Seriously, let's look at these two for just a moment. Columbus and Montreal. Before this trade, Columbus was the better team. Because Montreal was just not good. After the trade, holy smokes. Montreal got fleeced. I'm sorry. That was terrible. That was a terrible move by Bergevin. And let's like, the Canadiens beating Pittsburgh last year, that was a fluke. Let's be real. That was a total fluke. Like, I knew the moment Jeff Petrie scored the Game 1 overtime winner, I knew that the Penguins were losing that series. It was embarrassing. But we look at that, and then their ineptitude showed in the second round when they got eliminated. But we look at the Columbus Blue Jackets, all right? These guys lost 3 of their biggest players. What was it? Duchesne, Panarin, and Bobrovsky. And Bobrovsky ended up being a good thing to let go of. We didn't know that at the time. This team, despite losing 3 of the best talents, they really gave us a shock this season. They beat the arguable wagon in the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they almost got by Tampa Bay, who ended up being the eventual Stanley Cup champions. So you can't really blame them there. But they took up to quintuple overtime in Game 1. You can't. Nobody does that to the Tampa Bay Lightning unless you're a good team. Like, seriously, Columbus has turned a lot of heads this year. And with Max Domi, oh my goodness, what do you think his point projection would be?
I really think Domi could win the heart with the management. He's going to have He's going to have strict management, and management unlike he's ever had under John Tortorella. And I think Max Domi, with the shortened season, on a Columbus Blue Jackets team that arguably has one of the most underrated goaltender tandems in the NHL in Merzlikins and Korpisalo, I think Max Domi is going to be able to help this team, and this team is going to be able to help Max Domi. I said as soon as he got traded, Max Domi revenge tour, Max Domi for Hart. It's doable. It's doable. It's totally doable. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Players have something to prove, and they can do that.
It's true. Your Hart projection, I'm just going to say right now for the viewers, I do not agree with this Hart projection. He seems to be so hell-bent on the idea that Max Domi's a Hart winner. I can't see that happening. I could see him being a very valuable, like, how old is Domi? Do we know how old he is off the top of our heads? He's got to be...
Domi is 25 years old.
He's 25. Okay, so he still has a little bit of time. But, I mean, a Hart trophy... He'll be a great fit for Columbus, don't get me wrong. But a Hart trophy? Really?
Max Domi is the kind of guy who, when he has something to prove, he doesn't just go and tell them he has something to prove. He shows that he has something to prove. His dad was the same way. He's a different athlete. He's said before, he models his game after the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest player to ever step on a football field, Tom Brady. And Domi has said he models his game after Brady. This year is going to be like the revenge tour Tom Brady had when he led his New England Patriots to the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 51 after the 4-game suspension. He feels like he just got caught doing something I don't know if it was true or not. I'm not getting into that. And Max Domi, he wanted to spend the rest of his career in Montreal. Everybody knew that. He made it obvious. He said, I want to spend the rest of my career in Montreal. I love it here. The fans great. The atmosphere is great. Everything is great. Didn't get along with Claude Julien. He's going to get along well with John Tortorella, and I can guarantee it. Because John Tortorella likes hard workers, and that's exactly what Max Domi is.
I think we can all agree Max Domi's going to retire a Columbus Blue Jacket. No question about it. He just fits so well. He just fits so well with that team.
Yep.
But, you are right about that one. He will have a chip on his shoulder. What do you think a logical point projection for Max Domi would be?
If he got 72 points on the trash Montreal Canadiens team that was the 2018-2019 team. Sorry, Habs fans, but you know it's true. He can easily get 70 plus on this Columbus team. And with the shortened season, maybe 70 plus ends up being point per game. But he's going on to a team. Cam Atkinson's not the biggest guy. He's with Atkinson and Nyquist. What more could you ask for, Max Domi? It's the perfect line for a guy like Domi. And it just pains me to see his name on a Columbus Blue Jackets sweater. And he's going to prove to Mark Bergevin why you should never let a Domi go.
For sure. All right, on to my final player. Before we get into why I think this guy is going to be a breakout player, we need to really go back to his journey in the NHL because it is one of the more interesting ones, for sure. So my third and final guy for the Vegas Golden Knights, SHEA THEODORE. Everybody knows this name. If we go back to him, he was first round selection by the Anaheim Ducks. I think it was late first round pick in
26th overall.
26th overall in 2013.
Yep.
He bounced between Ducks and their AHL team, the San Diego Gulls. Bounced between them for the first 2 seasons. And when he was with the Ducks in 53 games, he put up 17 points. That's in 53 games. Then Vegas decides, I want an NHL team. And so then the Ducks are like, oh crap, there's an expansion draft and we're leaving Josh Manson open. So they said, all right, let's do a trade to make sure that they select Clayton Stoner. We want Vegas to select Clayton Stoner. And Vegas is like, no, we don't want to do that. And it goes, what if we offer you SHEA THEODORE? And Vegas goes, all right, sure, why not? And nobody expected jack from SHEA THEODORE. They expected maybe 7th D minutes kind of thing. Like, he's just an extra guy, scratch sort of thing. Throughout the 2017-18 season, he played a little bit better than what people thought he would. I think it was like a 6-goal, 23-assist kind of thing, which is not bad at all. And that, let's remember, this is a Vegas team that made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. You got your Vegas top D-men in Nate Schmidt and Derek England. In the following season, you look at Theodore in 18-19. He gets 12 goals, 37 points in 79 games. That's insane. For a guy who's playing third D pairing minutes, that is insane.
It's insane for any defenseman.
For any defenseman in general, but especially somebody in such a low role like that. So now we got the top 3 D-men, which are Nate Schmidt, Derek England, and SHEA Theodore. And then, the very following season, last season, he decides to put up 13 goals and 46 points. That's amazing. To be going from barely making the NHL with Anaheim to last season playing in all 71 games, playing top D pair minutes, and putting up 46 points and a plus 12. That is really, really good. That's why I think, and this is 46 points in a reduced 71 game season. That is really, really good. I don't know how many points that is over an 82 game, but that's got to be around 60, 65 points.
Mm-hmm.
So next season, I would have thought that next season he'd be getting around that much, 65, maybe 70 points. They just got Alex Pietrangelo. A SHEA Theodore, Alex Pietrangelo top D pairing is the best in the NHL. I am not kidding. That is the best D pairing in the entire NHL.
Theodore is the kind of guy who will benefit from Alex Pietrangelo. SHEA Theodore can afford to play more offensively and show off that side of the game, because then you've got one of the best defensemen in the NHL on the back check for you, and it can be the same for Pietrangelo, and they can both beat off each other, get points, and that's going to be a scary duo at the point. Now, I have a question for you. Do you maybe see one of them winning the Norris? I could see Pietrangelo winning the Norris.
You know what? I'll bite. I think I could see Petro winning the Norris actually with that D pairing for sure. You can almost, I don't want to jinx anything, but I can almost guarantee a Stanley Cup going to Vegas in the next 8 years or so. And look, that's another thing to consider. Theodore's 25. He is a young player who has shown this much potential so early. I mean, people automatically assume, since he was cast aside that early, people assume that he's like upper 30. He's only 25. This is a player who has so much more room to develop. This isn't even close to what we can. You know what? You can almost expect 75 points from him next year, especially if he's playing with Pietrangelo. You can expect 75 points or more. But that's also considering that, because we all know next season's not going to be 82 games. But if we adjust for like a 75-80 point pace over 82 games, that I can't say I can guarantee that, but I would not be surprised whatsoever if that's what happens. I mean, this is just an insane player. He's going to play some good quality minutes with Vegas, and I mean, I would love to see Vegas win a Stanley Cup, to be perfectly honest. I would love to see that.
Defenseman on my list, but honestly, this is kind of under the radar, guys, and I definitely think Kulak, there's nothing to say Kulak can't, I think he's one of the best defensive defensemen in the National Hockey League. He's kind of the honorable mention for me. I think that depends though, because with the addition of Joel Edmondson, thank you, Mason, for.
I didn't like him. All the teenage girl Blues fans seem to like him. I didn't like him. I really didn't.
Yeah.
We paid him way too much in that offseason. That's why we got rid of him.
But SHEA Theodore can show off his offensive skills. In 2013-2014, he got 79 points with the Seattle Thunderbirds of the WHL. And I know, it's the WHL, but the WHL is the most physical and physically demanding junior league because those guys are really tough. They hit hard, and Mason can maybe speak from experience on that.
Oh no, for sure, yeah. Like it's a very physically demanding league. And it's only you don't score that much on a fluke. You just don't. That's just not how that works.
Especially when you're a defenseman. And,
especially not as a defenseman. I mean, you'd be lucky to get that if you're a third line player.
You'd be lucky to get that as a second or first line player. That's insane numbers in the cup. And he's making the Ducks wish they didn't pass up on him.
Oh, for sure. SHEA THEODORE or Josh Manson. Who are you taking there? I'm taking SHEA THEODORE over Josh Manson. And it's I just find it funny that he was the incentive to not pick Josh Manson. It's like, all right, you take this guy and we'll give you SHEA. I think that's hilarious. Looking back on that, like, Anaheim must really be kicking themselves right now.
Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure that you go subscribe to BluesFanReacts.
If you sub to me, I will bake you a cookie. That's a promise.
Personally.
I will come to your house. I'll bake you a cookie if you subscribe to my channel. I can't make you more than one. That'll be a lot of cookies, but I can absolutely bake one for you. All right?
Sounds fair. I would take that deal. I would take that deal if I were you. Subscribe here to King Angus, and see you guys later. Goodbye.
Peace.
I'm gonna be real. Okay, one of the videos I posted, I was not wearing pants. I was wearing only underwear.
I'm gonna say that was Jake Allen video.
No, not that one.
Not Petrangelo, because you put a lot of effort in.
No, it wasn't that one. That was a good one though. I'm actually really proud of that video.
That was. Couldn't have been your first video.
Wasn't my first one.
I know what it was.
No, it was the Kyle Clifford video. I was not wearing pants.
Oh, well, that would make sense considering Kyle Clifford. Like, I think he'd kind of be proud for that.
You reckon you'd be proud?
Dude, I don't envision Kyle Clifford being the kind of guy who would wear pants around his house.
Yo, people are getting an exclusive on your channel. This just in. BluesFanReacts didn't wear pants for one of the videos.